Hey guys, thanks for tuning in, watching my channel. Today I want to talk about triggers, stuff that triggers you, makes you really angry, or just triggers your trauma. Yeah, there's a few things that for me trigger me for sure, and there's one of them that's really just kind of obscure, but it's when people tell me what to do, especially in like a condescending, like I'm in charge and you're not in charge kind of thing. And like when they try to tell me, oh, you have to do this, and it's like, oh, do I don't have to do anything you tell me, because I'm a human being and I can make choices. And it's like, some of it's, their problem because they're not a good leader, and, good leaders don't have to do stuff like that because they already have a good relationship with you. So when they ask you to do something, it's not telling you, it's not ordering you to do something, it's asking like a favor almost. And you're more inclined to be like, yeah, sure, yeah, no problem, boss, because you know that the boss has got your back. But a lot of people don't know how to be leaders, and they've never been taught how to be leaders, and so they do the order thing. But it's still interesting, because for me it triggers me like hardcore. Like anytime somebody tells me I have to do something, and orders me, I'm just like, I 100% want to just do the opposite. I don't even want to care whether what they're telling me to do is something that I should do anyways. Like, I'm still like, nope, not doing it. I'm just gonna do the opposite. And then it makes me really angry, and then I have to go on like a tirade and go complain to a whole bunch of people and bullshit like that. So fortunately for me, I've kind of recognized that, so I definitely don't do that nearly as much as I used to. But yeah, I definitely did that a lot back in my 20s for sure. Yeah, and another thing that kind of triggers me is seeing my exes, especially the main ones of mine, because like when I see them, it brings back like all of those memories that I've like tried to just forget about or heal from, and as a result, I think it's like a adrenaline dump or a trauma dump, and it brings up all those memories, which then triggers me, which I've only recently realized that it is a trigger. And I've noticed, because it's not in the moment that it triggers. Like, I get triggered, but it's not in the moment that it does anything. It's like only later on in the day do I find myself like super irritable. I'm super upset about just random stuff, and it's like then I question myself. I'm like, wait a minute, why am I so upset about this little thing that like yesterday didn't make me angry? And it's like, oh, that makes sense. It's because I saw a picture of my ex-wife, or I had to talk to my son's mom or something like that. So it's definitely an interesting thing. Yeah, what kind of triggers do you guys have? And do you guys ride to try to clear your head and not have triggers? I've noticed that some people do have triggers, like when someone disrespects them, they just fly off the handle. They get so upset at somebody disrespecting them, and I've noticed that seems to be a trigger for a lot of people. For me, it's not so much, because I don't know, I'm kind of more secure with myself in that sense, because getting bullied in the military is kind of like just a thing that happens. so in the military, people make fun of you. You're in a unit, so like people do just this dumbest stuff to try to push your buttons. So you kind of learn pretty quick, like, well, you can either always be reacting to everybody's button pushing and look like the fool, or you can just not let it bother you, and then continue on your day. And seems like that's what I was able to learn from being in the Army. But you know, aside from that, I've noticed a lot of these people, they never were in the military, they get triggered like that. So those are my triggers that I've noticed. I also think that there are some strategies you can employ to try to not have a reaction to your triggers, or at least to minimize or you know, reduce the amount of trigger that you get from those triggers. And a couple ones I've noticed is riding. When I get triggered, if I go for a ride, pretty much whatever I was triggered about kind of goes away. Another thing I've noticed is doing like your hobbies, stuff you like to do. If you go do that stuff, for the most part, it kind of erases your triggers and stuff. Oh God. Woo! Don't want to turn too hard in the sand there, because otherwise that's how you dump your bike. So yeah, so summing up what I was saying, you know, so the things about triggers, you know, I've noticed a few of them. I'm sure there's a bunch more that I haven't listed that either I am kind of aware of or I'm starting to figure out right now. But I think it's definitely important to know your triggers, because that helps you set yourself up for success later, because then you know what's going on in your brain when you get triggered. And then having some kind of strategies to employ when you get triggered, or you know, to try to do so that you can minimize the amount of, you know, reaction you have to a trigger. I think those are definitely important. You guys should let me know in the comments, you know, what do you think? You know, you guys get triggered, you guys get all kinds of, you know, strategies for when you get triggered. Anyways, guys, well, thanks for watching.